Hi, it's Friday's Talking Reds. I'm Josh Sexton. I'm joined today by Andy Heaton. We are currently in between games. Liverpool played last night against Wolves. We're playing against Shrewsbury at the weekend as well. And Andy, myself and you were on the post-match pint last night. We're going to lash a clip into that in a second. But I just wanted to sort of get into some of the different stuff that we didn't talk about so much last night. Thinking about individual performances. Alisson Becker, first of all, I know you're a big fan. Is he our greatest ever goalkeeper?
Well, he's certainly in the discussion, which, considering he's only been here, barely 2 seasons, is just testament to how well he's done. He's come straight in here. He's got an aura of calm about him. Listen, I wish that the Church of Pepe Reina, and I know it didn't end particularly well for him, but then Hodgson, you know what I mean? The weird thing is, he's very unorthodox in a way that I find it difficult to describe. In so much he's not showy or anything like that. I think he makes a lot of things that are really hard look really easy. I mean, including getting webbed in the face yesterday. I think the effect of it, I think the difference with him in goal is you can just have the calming effect he has on the rest of the team, not just the defence. And also I think you look at the effect he has on, and we've spoken about this before, how we set up, how Liverpool can play a much higher line when he's in there. And he just doesn't seem to panic. I think
there's a lot to be said for the making it look easy thing. I sort of think back to Peter Schmeichel when people talk about that, making it look easy, being in the right position, that kind of thing.
Yeah, everything sticks. Yeah. Everything seems to stick to him. And the other thing is that one of his greatest strengths is, and I think we've suffered for this for about 25 years, when if he does make a bit of a mistake, it doesn't really affect him. He just gets on with it. There was a couple of times when, against Man United, where a couple of passes into feet and he put them out there a little bit too close for comfort, but he didn't let that get to him, just carried on. Even back to one of his first games at Liverpool, Leicester City, when he makes that mistake on the touchline, and then 3 minutes later, if that was Loris Karius or Simon Mignolet, David James, you just knew that would affect him, not just for the rest of the game. Jerzy Dudek never really recovered from that one mistake against Man United. And then 3 minutes later, the ball comes into him in the crowd's there, he takes a touch and just passes it out and just gets on with it. So he's certainly in the conversation, and then but he's not the only standout recently, is he? Well, of late, is he?
No, well, I've put down 3 names on this of the lads who I think sort of performed the best last night, and I think that's a general consensus that they did as well. And 2 of them just happen to be our most expensive players, and one happens to be the captain. But the other most expensive player of Liverpool was Virgil van Dijk. Thought he was colossal again last night, and it's the same thing as Alisson. He just makes he makes defending look so easy. There was a few times where Wolves attackers were trying to work a bit of space, and he just sort of takes this big massive step and gets a block in, and it's that reading of the game which I think is his best asset.
Yeah, and his presence, and I think his organisation as well. I mean, the 3 people you mentioned there, they're all big talkers. I don't think that's any coincidence. Yeah. But in different styles, you see Henderson's in and about, he's into his teammates' ears, constantly on the go, into the referee's ear, whereas Virgil's very instructive, where he'll kind of guide the team from the back. And then Alisson, just as communication in the area, not just verbally, but with his body language as well. You just know, like if he's coming for a cross, he's more than likely going to get it, so you can relax. How many times have we seen balls come into the box over the last couple of years? And this is a testament to both Van Dijk and Alisson, whereas they're not getting in each other's way. There's no doubt in Van Dijk's mind that Alisson's going to deal with it, or vice versa. They just deal with the danger. The mad thing is the 3 players you mentioned there as well. I mean, there's talk about PFA Player of the Year and all that stuff. And you talk about team captains and the armband. Liverpool's a team full of captains, but for that very reason, and with the PFA, I think a Liverpool player will struggle to win it because the vote's going to be split.
Yeah, and getting on to our actual captain, you say about a team full of captains, but our actual captain, he's probably been the best player in the league for about 9 weeks now. It's been since Fabinho got injured, since Fabinho went down against Napoli, and we all sort of shit ourselves. Anfield goes into this hushed silence, but since then Henderson's just been, well, colossal.
Yeah, it's not the first time he's been shifted about either. He was having a little bit of a renaissance as a more advanced midfielder, quite enjoying it. And then he slotted back in, but he seems to be playing with a little bit more freedom now in that role, which is straight, that more he's not just sitting back and going side to side. He seems to be dictating the tempo a little bit more, getting a little bit involved. I mean, you scored yesterday, you hit the post against Man United, even from that deep position. I mean, maybe it's just a case of his time has come, and we're finally seeing now what various England managers and Liverpool managers and Steven Gerrard, who eulogises about him, seen years ago.
Yeah, and about the position thing as well, maybe it's that, when he first took to the number 6 role, he was sort of just sticking to exactly what Klopp had told him to do, whereas I think now, moving into that 8 role and then moving back to 6, probably giving him a bit of a new lease on life.
Yeah, and more than that, he looks like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
I mean, the let-offs for me, he's always been, you speak to people around the club, and he's always been a good communicator, he's been a good teammate, but he's never really expressed that on the pitch. He's never really been effervescent, if you will, where the one thing I've really enjoyed since Kiev, to be honest, he's been more expressive on the pitch. The let-off when Van Dijk scored the early goal against Man United last week, the let-off when he scored yesterday and the late winner again. He seems to be pretty much the closest embodiment to the manager. Everyone talks about Klopp's relationship with Virgil van Dijk and one thing and the other, but if you would ask me who's the most similar to the manager on the pitch, I would say it's Jordan Henderson, because of that steely determination and work ethic, an absolute iron will to win. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Liverpool have once again not come from behind but stole it late. I mean, once or twice maybe you write off as coincidence, but the amount of times Liverpool do it, that is no coincidence. And you've got to have that. It's one thing having all the ability in the world, but you've got to have that will to win, desire and fitness to see it over the line, and I think Jordan Henderson's the embodiment of that. Yeah, and three of our more important players having positive performances there last night, but I suppose one of the negatives you take away from last night is the Mane injury. It's starting to come out this morning that it's probably going to be the next 3 games at least that he misses. Obviously there's going to be more on that soon, but I want to try and flip it into positive, because obviously Minamino comes on and gets his chance last night. He struggles to get into the game a bit, but I think he does some positive things as well. He makes some good runs, things like that, and I think there's probably a chance for him to not necessarily nail down a place in the side, but to prove himself now. Yeah, to show his worth. I think between himself and Shaqiri, he should be near in fitness. We should be able to cope. I mean, look, you never want your players injured, but there was chat that Mane had played too much football. If it is 3 weeks, it's not the end of the world. It could be a lot worse, especially with a hamstring. You look at what's happened with Harry Kane. I think the speed in which they took him off yesterday, because he wasn't limping or anything, he just grabbed it. I think that shows just how important he is to the team. But if there was a run of fixtures where you'd think, all right, okay, not ideal, and you want to put a pin in the calendar, it's probably about now. Going into an FA Cup game against Shrewsbury, so that's 1 week, and then we've got the next couple of fixtures. I mean, touch wood. The next couple of fixtures aren't as challenging as what we've been going through since early December. I mean, if you look at our fixtures from early December and where we are now, it's incredible how well Liverpool have done. So yeah, hopefully touch wood, he comes back a little bit more refreshed and at it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I said at the top of the show, myself and Andy were on the post-match pint last night. We looked back at the game in a bit more depth, and here's a little clip for you from that. We'll look back at the end of the season, and I think that's when we can kind of take stock about just how incredible this run is. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the word generational on social media this week in regards to describing players. This Liverpool team is generational, and it's proven that. And if they can maintain that, there is a really solid argument that it is the greatest Liverpool side that there's ever been.
Yeah, they're making those arguments, Josh, aren't they? Because they're just beating everything in front of them, and you know, doing it in different ways. They're doing it in phenomenal ways. And as I say, this team's been through things this season. Everyone's acting like, oh, we've had our own way. Oh, the league's been weak or whatever. But there's been injuries, there's been suspensions, there's been trips to the far side of the world, and they've just kept on going like a juggernaut. Yeah, no one seems to want to talk about it on the outside, because I think that everyone's just desperate to discredit this Liverpool team. And look, it's what we all do as football fans. I remember for years sort of talk about Manchester United, oh, they bribe the referees, Fergie time and all that, and then there's City and how their players are miraculously recovering from injuries, and when they're going on a 100-point season. I think you're always going to look for a way to discredit another football team who are doing better than you, but look, there's no way to discredit this Liverpool team. They had 4 first-team midfielders out tonight in Shaqiri, Lallana, Milner and Keita, and they still managed to find a way to get it done. They still get enough good lads on there, and still bring Fabinho off the bench as well. And I know the game against Shrewsbury at the weekend's coming up, and we're expecting 11 changes, but it's still going to be such a strong team. Yeah, great stuff from Andy and Josh there, as always, mate. Polished, absolutely polished. From Knobhead Tuesday to Freaky Friday, here we go. I'm so glad you managed to get that in the end. Yeah, if you do want to watch that post-match pint before, you can download our app. You get 250 free tokens when you first download it, so you get the chance to try that for free, and obviously if you like it then do subscribe. Andy, Shrewsbury coming up at the weekend, 11 changes. I was having a laugh with Gibbo the other day, because I think he spoke to one of the Shrewsbury fanzines, and they sort of asked him what his team would be for the weekend, and he goes, oh, 11 change, and then they said, so pick you 1 to 11, and he goes through it, and it's such a strong team now, and I think that just says so much about this Liverpool squad, and even the younger lads who are in there, the likes of Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, probably Nico Williams will get in there as well. I'm just excited to watch them play. Yeah, it's mad, the adversity we suffered earlier in the season when we were threadbare, so to speak, which has kind of been forgotten about with Liverpool. Everyone's talking about lucky Liverpool. We've had horrific injuries. We missed our goalkeeper. Yeah. We've had suspensions for being... Anyway, because of the exposure that Nico Williams, Curtis and Harvey have had, you've got absolutely no worries. Blood in the Shrewsbury. It's not like
I don't know, you go back a couple of years ago, Northampton and all that, and you're playing essentially the stiffs, players who don't want to be there, you know, and young kids who might not make the grade. Everyone who takes to that team, takes to the pitch on Sunday, has got a reason to play and play well. It's a really good game for them, be a good experience. I mean, going through, I would say 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Oh, but you'd hope it'd be Adrian and goal.
It'd be Adrian and goal.
Adrian and goal. Dejan Lovren's fit.
It's going to be him and Matip, you'd think, wouldn't it?
Matip, you'd think so, yeah, I can't see him play. It's a question over right back.
I think it'd be Nico Williams right
back. And then left back you go...
Probably have to go Larouci if Milner's still out.
Or Hover might get a game, you don't know.
Yeah,
either side, either right back or even centre half. You go through the midfield. I mean,
that's probably the tough one because of all the injuries we've got there.
Yeah, but you've still got options there. You could even drop Shaqiri in if you wanted to. I mean, who would you go for in midfield?
I think Curtis Jones is probably the one
who dropped back. Curtis is going to start.
Maybe has to go with Wijnaldum again.
Possibly. Or maybe just divvy up half an hour. Where are we with Milner? Is he still?
I'm not sure. That'll probably be revealed in his press conference today, won't it? But Milner, Keita and Shaqiri have all been out, so...
Okay, so hopefully good news on that one.
Maybe another shout for Chirivella.
Yeah, Fabinho might start. With him starting on the bench, you wonder whether he was being primed. And he's only had, what? How long did he get? Only second half he come on, wasn't he? Yeah, so you should imagine it. And maybe that little bit of freshness he got used to getting on the pitch and doing good for it. And then up front, well, you think it'd be Divock Origi, Harvey Elliott, and one of...
Minamino, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. But then, you know, he had a good 60 minutes yesterday when maybe it wasn't planned, but we'll see. But as you said, options. Definitely enough to beat Shrewsbury. Yeah,
that's a team which offers loads of excitement as well, as you say, and it actually leads on nicely to our question from yesterday's Talking Reds as well. Obviously, being in the FA Cup, I think most people at this stage aren't sort of looking at the chances of winning the FA Cup, probably more focused on the league and even the Champions League. But the question says, would you rather have an invincible season like Arsenal or the treble, as the Man United fans would call it, if you can only have one?
Trophy's in the bag, innit? Yeah. I mean, if it's on the treble, then presuming it's the one that you know United bang on about the European Cup.
Champions League, FA
Cup. Listen, I mean, look, the Invincibles thing's great, but I mean, what does it actually mean? You know,
little gold Premier League trophy.
Well, I mean, was it? I mean, apart from like, I don't know, some sad graphic designer somewhere still banging on about it, like 20 years ago. I don't know, but
look straight down the barrel when you say that.
You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, if that's all you've got to claim, well, soz about you. No, I mean, it's got to be that, hasn't it? I mean, notwithstanding the United thing, imagine getting to 7 European Cups. 7 European Cups, get the league in the bag, and we haven't won the FA Cup for, what, how long is it now? Must be 2006.
Yeah,
2006.
Yeah.
You know, I'm winning a habit. I'm winning a good habit at the minute, so let's keep that going. To answer your question.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a fair enough answer. In terms of what's coming up on the Anfield app, we've got still got our January sale on our online shop, so make sure you go and check that out. That is shop.theanfieldapp.com, up to 50% off all of our merchandise there. We're also going to Ireland soon, doing live shows. I'm going, as I mentioned, on Wednesdays, Talking Reds, so enough reason for you to go. The shows are nearly sold out there. I've also got live shows coming up in America, so make sure you go to theanfieldapp.com/tour live so you can see all the dates for that and all the information for that. But nice one, Andy.
No worries.
Up the Reds.